We have another AusDraft 2.0 set. We've got Team SalaDin versus Team Liam. And today we are joined by the great and mighty Kiwi as a co-caster. This is,
Hello.
this, yeah, this is where you say hello.
Yeah, I was just working. I was, uh, I was bemused by the Mongol pick on the flank. But you carry on.
Oh, we do carry on. We'll just quickly skim through Liam's team. We've got Lowmeister on the flank as the Incas, supported by the Liam himself as a Lithuanian pocket. On the other side, we've got Timber playing as the Turks, a very surprising pick, to be sure. And then finally, Snedo as the Chinese. We've got a sick combo here. Incas and Chinese, getting the sheep under your TC so that you got no unnecessary idle time as the Chinese. Do you want to go through the other team?
With that team being SalaDin. So we
Yes.
start on the bottom side with Captain Nip. Is it Captain Nipples or Captain Knipples? This is a true question.
It's
But
definitely
he's
Nipples. I think it has to be
he's
Nipples.
playing as the Japanese. And then behind him, he's got SalaDin, captain of this team, playing Chechens. Across from him is Bonk, playing as the Huns, with lastly Cha-Cha playing as the Mongols.
So we've got a couple of very aggressive civs in terms of Mongols and potentially Turks with the extra pierce armor on their scouts in feudal age. But then you're sort of combined with civs like Students that are a pretty nice eco civ, but not really fast because the eco bonus doesn't really come in, until 11-ish minutes when you start to make farms.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the civs seem to be a little bit at odds.
Now, I'll be trusting you to keep an eye on Snedo's idle time, as I do not have capture age, but
So far he's only
it
got
was
20
looking
seconds.
alright.
He's doing really well. He's gonna have a solid vill and a half lead, which will increase to almost 2.5 by the time everyone starts to get loom.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we do just have the boring old Dark Age where there's no laming to go on. So
Push
everyone's
deer, it
just
exists.
everyone just sits at home. They push their deer and they chill. I guess an issue potentially is that both of Liam's flanks have forward berries. So if they are on the receiving end of crazy aggression, they potentially are unable to click up to Castle Age at a good time if they get pushed off their berries early. We maybe have to see
Mm-hmm.
an early rod to defend the berries, whereas
Which
instead
we do love.
we do love the rods. We see them all the time, but both of Saladin's flanks they've got forward golds, but then they also have another gold that's further back, so they're not really punished as hard because they can just ignore it until Castle Age.
Mm-hmm. Both of the flanks for Saladin as well look like they're on time for the 18 pop archers, although if Captain Nipples does not notice, his villager isn't actually tasked to the mining camp, it's tasked to the gold.
Oh, he's
Which might,
shift clicked it incorrectly,
yeah,
and he's just started
which
loom as well, so he's gonna.
might be a bit idle getting up.
Yep. Oh, and he's just sent more vills to wood as well. And he only had one villager on wood, which I guess is Japanese. Makes quite a bit of sense. You don't need to gather any excess wood.
Snido's not gonna get up anytime soon. Uh, gonna have to add an extra vill. Just had his not enough food income.
He's already got 4 on
The
wood,
four and wood.
which seems a bit excessive. I think like you should still be okay with like 2 on wood, and then you have a villager just chop straggler trees and then go build the mining camp. Or potentially
Mm-hmm.
you can actually still do a China build where you I just lost his scout to the TC. Where you still take berries to begin with, so you sort of play it like a mini Portuguese player, where you have that extra food income for a stronger eco. And he's also going
Mm-hmm.
for a second lumber camp.
Although Lawmeister's uptime is even further behind.
Yeah,
Fortunately, he has not clicked yet.
and he also has a mill
Losing a
himself.
vill.
Just lost a villager, and his mill is just absolutely horrible. I don't. Why would you build the mill in that position?
Which is unfortunate. Looking at the resources for the players, Cha-Cha will be able to afford his double range. Captain Nipples might be able to. Oh, he's dropped his barrack, so yeah, he'll be able to.
Yeah, considering that he's late up, he should be able to do it quite comfortably. And
Yep.
Cha-Cha is building her
Snido,
2 ranges, just as you said.
Snido's build is a. It's fine. It's got double lumber camp, so his wood is a bit stretched at the moment. he's also gone for the forward lumber, which, as we've seen previously, can result in a couple archers just sitting behind and shooting over.
Yep. The other issue is he's only got 2 vills on food at the moment, so he might struggle to get fletching at a good
Click
time.
fletching. He's got one range coming up.
I also don't like his archery range positions. Like, I would be trying to wall it from the wood line in front of the berries.
With Mongols here, like without walls, Mongols should damage Chinese and Turks. With everyone being able to go 18 pop, Mongols aren't actually that much faster, if any at all, dead meat.
Yeah.
And then
I don't think even doing 17 pop would really make sense, because your eco is just
yeah,
going to be kind of potato.
yeah. So like it's a matter of like I don't think anyone should be hard walling early unless you've had a truly tight, like I think Lawmeister should consider it.
Yeah,
should think.
he's also only got 4 vills on wood, so he's only building 1 range while being up super late. Whereas we see that
Okay.
Nipples is already building his blacksmith, and has also done double bit axe, which is potentially a little bit greedy as a flank. I don't think he's going to be able to afford fletching, but he's prepared to do fletching at some point if he gets the food for it.
Regardless of the flank action, it seems like all the pockets though are very equal at this point.
You would
Yeah,
expect
single range skirms is unfortunate.
the pockets should always be in a solid position because there's nothing else to, interrupt them.
Distract you, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Timber's doing a nice. He's trying to do like a little preemptive walling around his wood, but yeah, Stiddo's archer numbers are going to cause him grief here.
Yeah, I think both sides of the flanks are very much letting down Liam's side, unfortunately.
Oh, but Stiddo knows, so here it comes.
Oh, the rod.
The quickest rod.
Well, it's actually not the quickest rod, to be fair. It's a 12-minute rod. It's not the best,
Yeah,
but
well, I mean, but you know.
all the archers, though, are now dead. Honestly, I think Charchak will probably kill a villager and then keep walking past.
Like at this point, with like the amount of archers that you've killed, you can just walk straight to pocket here.
Yep.
You don't need to settle too much on the flank. Or like now that you know that he's dropped his tower there, his woodlight is so open to go for.
Yep, for sure. And on the other side, Lawmeister's off his berries. His single range is useless, and he has also rotted his gold.
This could be a bit of a quick one, but
Yep. I think
it'll come down to
I think both the pockets, they just need to sit and wait until they get armor. There's like no point even trying to take a fight before they get armor.
yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Is that the pockets have to be like, all right, boys. Timber's already got his. Oh no, he's got his natural +1. But if he gets, Liam's getting his now. SalaDin's already got his on the way. I don't know if Timber he hasn't got a blacksmith yet. He can't afford it. So, like I said, he's got the blacksmith, but I'm not sure he'll be able to afford the armor when he gets it up.
But we do see both the players pushing towards Lawmeister's woodline. And SalaDin is actually taking a little bit of an engagement as he has the first armor upgrade. But yeah, it's 2v1 essentially on both sides. And we were sort of saying that picking Arabia style maps against SalaDin's team seems very sus because they are. Oh, the vills are going in for a box. I think this game is like 100% over already. Funnily enough, they do have a slight villager lead, but they are just so far behind an army on both sides. And like they're just diving in towards Timber's woodline right now. He might need to tower his woodline
He's
to
not
stay
going to
alive.
quick wall it.
Oh, that's rough.
I mean,
That's rough.
they should be able to clean the archers because the archers are doing what, 1 damage against the 4 PS. So it is like a very good clean with him. With his name Bonk missing like no armor, no bloodlines. So Timber's units do indeed just clean that all up.
I guess maybe in hindsight it might have made more sense for Liam, who's playing with the weaker player, to have Turks, because the extra PS armor allows you to play 1v2 much more easily.
Easier, yeah.
But yeah, like Liam's just lost all of his army. He's probably forced to do 2 stables at some point, I think. He's going to gold. I think a second stable would probably be more useful at this point. Just get some big numbers, try to clean up their army, and then go up to Castle Age and get Bloodlines later. I think committing to big feudal age is just not going to work out when your flank is this dead. Chinese should go to a higher elo player anyway. Well, Sneddo is, I think, 3rd pick for Liam's team.
Yes, yeah. It's Timber then Sneddo.
Yeah, so it's relatively high player on that side.
Yeah, if you're gonna play both of your high rates in pocket, then this is the next best choice. I
Fair.
mean, we love to roast Snedo shit, but you know he performed quite well in the Arabia last set, so or like the original, the first set. So maybe they've had some good things with him. Have a little faith in the Snedo.
Oh,
Oh, the full swing from Timber. Oh,
there's so many archers coming forwards. I mean, I think this makes sense. Like Liam's just gonna absolutely die to this many archers, whereas the extra pierce armor from Timber potentially allows them to take a good fight.
oh,
And they
get
just
to
whip
them
around.
before they could get to the wood line. Get him, jump.
You get around behind the back of the army.
Gray should just walk into the. Okay,
Yeah,
he's just taking the fight.
just walk into the one tile gap and be chilling. He's definitely gonna get cleaned up here.
Timber is 2k1. Yeah, Timber is. Yeah,
Okay, the archers are
but
finally
yes.
going into the grab.
Yeah, and now there's enough red archers to clean that up. You don't need all the scouts, boys. Let's go
Yep,
forward.
yep.
Or
Time to go.
maybe think time to save Snedo.
Yeah. While this is going on, Senna's just got scouts running under CC.
Yeah, I'm looking at the double stable from Timber and thinking, it's good. It could work. However, Brod's like, if Brod slaps a market, because his own eco management hasn't been great, but he's floating 500 wood. Solid
Oh,
enough
that's
yet?
definitely not ideal. We've got two players who are up, which are Char Char and Liam. Yep, SalaDin has just clicked up as well. Bonk is honestly he's not in a horrible position. As soon as he gets a market, he's starting to build now. If he just rushes the market with all of his gold bills and sells wood and buys his way up, he'd be fine. Instead, he builds two extra stables.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I guess he'll need the stables eventually, but he could do it in a more useful order potentially.
He's also got so many farmers. He's got 25 farms, which, without even eating all his berries, I guess it's fine at this point. Is there a possibility? There is a possibility here that Saladin can take damage if he doesn't wall off his gold from the large number of scouts coming in.
True. Even just idling all
And
the farmers near his mill is probably enough to set him behind. Right? Because that's going to lose him a couple hundred food by the time he gets to Castle Age, if you just sit there for a couple minutes.
oh, a big fight on the left as well.
Yeah, Char Char has been clear. Somehow Liam's team is winning when we said that they were basically dead, so what do we know?
I think to be fair, we said that Lolmeister was dead.
Yeah,
We said
true.
that Snedo got his rod up, and then like was
I mean,
lost using his archer numbers, but they didn't punish it by going to pocket early enough. So it's
there does seem to be a bit of a recurring theme where teams get an insane advantage and then don't actually push it hard enough. And Saladin forced to keep
Yeah.
making scouts to clean up the scouts in his base. Doing a pretty good job of it. He hasn't really had any eco damage, even with the big swing coming over from Timber.
Spare's doing work.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Bonk
Panda.
also has-
There's no need to bring this up, man. The Nations Cup's in the past.
Yeah. Why is students picking this?
Paladin Civ, they have really nice eco. It's just a general, like they're just a good Cav Civ, and the other one's got sniped. Or
And
picked.
also, the lack of husbandry doesn't really affect you as much on this map because there's not very much running that you're going to do. You basically just go forwards and you play on your flank side almost always. And even if you do swing, it's a very limited space because in general all the players are more squished in towards the middle.
Wow, Bonk's hitting his fast jump timing with 900 food, 700 gold.
Fast Paladin, let's go.
I really hope that man clicks everything. All right, there we go. There's knight, there's armor. Come on, bowsaw plus heavy plow. I'm ready. Don't forget Vils though as well, sir. But yeah, as you said before, that like Tutun's not having light cav also means that he's now sitting with 5 possibly upgradable scout cav that
He's
don't
actually got
really have a benefit
7
now.
of them actually. There's some more floating around
There's
somewhere on
2
the map.
under his TC. Yeah, they're coming forward now.
Yep. Yeah, actually that's something I didn't think about because usually the light cap timing in Castle Age is quite important. Right? You get 7 to 10 scouts, you turn them into light cap. They're a pretty decent early Castle Age unit before everyone gets all their upgrades and mass knights out in the field.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
also see
I really want to see Timber to do his little running around with the light cav that he's got now, try and distract and then kill the Vils here he's doing. But
beautiful. Green is on point though, he does have his knights nearby to help out. And Liam does already have a monastery out collecting those relics for the Lithuanian attack buff. The real question is, are they just going to roll through now that Nipples is about to get crossbow and bodkin? Well, he's getting bodkin, he's not getting crossbow just yet, but he still has a big, massive, somewhat upgraded archers coming in towards Lawmeister, who he's close to clicking Castle Age, but
But he's not on the way yet.
yeah,
Yeah.
which means there's still a 3-minute delay on anything actually happening on this side. And we see actually 3 TCs going up for both of Team Liam for their pockets, which makes sense. They are the stronger players on the team. They want to get their ego rolling so that they can carry if the game continues into the late game. See, there's a little bit of a poking and prodding engagement going on outside Char Char's base, but it seems like they should be able to defend Char Char's base quite easily here. There's just so many more knights from Bonk as opposed to Timber. All of Senato's crossbows are getting cleaned up here. I wonder, was Timber on 3 stables? He is on 3 stables, but they are Hun stables, to be fair, so it does make sense that you're able to outproduce your opponent. And we're sort of seeing, again, just like Feudal Age, both the flanks have big army numbers for Team SalaDin, whereas the pockets for Liam's team are potentially creeping ahead in terms of economy.
Hey, Humble, we want to have so many different predictions, but Robo is very much the game wins. Game wins only.
I
I want to get,
you can
how
only
fast does the flank die, you know?
We're only allowed to have one single prediction at a time, though, that's the issue.
Yeah, that's what we just gotta have, you have 3 or 4 predictions a game. Let's go.
Oh, but, yeah, but then I need to actually do the predictions, that's the problem.
That's what Pandy's job is, man. Get him in here. But yeah. I just had a disconnect in my age, the game froze and then didn't do it, so I'm just speeding up.
Oh,
So you
no
just
worries.
do you?
Liam is potentially taking a bit of damage here from the double coming into his base from SalaDin and Nipples. His knights are just sort of trying to babysit Lawmeister until he gets to Castle Age and gets these crossbow and broken arrow upgrades. But Liam is just having a ton of idle time in a lot of his farms right now. Oh, and unfortunately it seems Snedo has overchopped his woodline, and some knights have just walked into his base directly from Char Char. And now he has no villagers chopping wood whatsoever at the moment. Which is definitely going to make it difficult to add crossbows. And he's only got 6 crossbows to begin with, so he's not in a good position whatsoever. Potentially, though, a big fight coming in. Lawmeister walking over. He's got bodkin arrow. No crossbow, though. Just like Captain Nipples, they prioritize the blacksmith upgrade instead of the archery range upgrade, which is definitely a mistake. Crossbow does the exact same thing that bodkin does. It costs less food, and it also makes your archers create faster. And the creation time of a crossbow is, I think, 8 or 9 seconds faster than an archer, so you just get to mass so much quicker once you have crossbow in. But we do see the engagement starting to come in here. And it's actually a pretty even fight, all things considered. A lot of Liam's knights are actually not fighting at the moment, though, which means that I think that they might end up losing this fight, especially because he hasn't deleted the mill, allowing Nipples' crossbows to just sit here and fire away peacefully, whilst Lawmeister's crossbows are just not really being that active. Yeah, and Liam's just lost all of his mass. And now at this point, SalaDin's knights can just swing back and they can just double Lawmeister's crossbows and just absolutely clean up. Back on the top side, the push is now starting to come into Senato's base through the overchop. But Senato has actually built a 3rd TC on the wood line so that he has some income. It does look like the game situation is very, very rough for Liam's team. They're basically equal on bills, but they're 50 army behind. Which is basically every single one of their players is behind their direct opponent. Which is not the position that you want to be in. And still Nipples is just being a little bit of a micro nerd, trying to draw out the engagement as long as possible, kill as many units as possible. And while this goes on, Lawmeister's base is just being absolutely decimated. His rod that he built in his gold is being destroyed. He's losing all of his villagers that were taking gold. Lawmeister is down to 25 villagers at the 32-minute mark. It's always a horrible feeling to have less villagers than the number of minutes that have been played in this game. I think that Liam's team... I mean, we called GG earlier in the game, and then it wasn't GG. But I think at this point, it looks like it's GG.
Definitely feels that way.
SalaDin
is starting to
dead.
take over. Yeah.
And we also see Imperial Age coming in now for Nipples, as if As if it wasn't bad enough, the 1 TC Imp is coming in. All of his gold miners are idle. He needs to go switch them all to his back gold. Especially considering he's Japanese, he should probably chuck up a mining camp on either side of the gold so they're a little bit more efficient.
He's going to drop an extra TC as well with some
Okay.
farms so he can afford his Arbalest plus Bodkin. Big fight at the top side though.
Yeah.
Bonk not noticing.
And Char being very far out of position right now. Losing a couple of knights there for free. But being knights, they can always just start to run away.
Neither archer player up there has thumb ring, so it's a bit of a even fight.
It's interesting. There's more knights for Timber, but then there's more crossbows for Char. So the fight is relatively even. I think that if Timber uses his knights efficiently and gets them behind Char's crossbows, I think they should be able to win this fight. Yeah, like all the green knights have just been absolutely shredded, and now there's so many more. I mean, there's a big bunch of reinforcements coming in though, just behind this. Yeah, but Char is now trapped here. Liam
Snedo needs to shoot. He's not shooting. He's just walking.
is even a bad patrol, potentially. I think it doesn't even matter. They're still going to absolutely clean this. Really, really good engagement there. Bonk just unfortunately having half of his army, sitting a little bit further back behind the lines, not being involved. And at the same time, Liam is just walking in, yoinking that relic and saying, nope, I'm out of here. Yeah, that was a convincing engagement. I've absolutely cleaned that. They've got a massive army lead on this side. And all of a sudden, Liam's team, they've got 10 extra army compared to the other team, when a couple minutes ago they were 50 army behind.
So we are about to get we're about to get a round 2 though. We've got the Teutons and Japanese walking straight into Liam's base now.
Yeah, Liam is halfway up to Imp though.
Yeah, it's hopefully he can survive long enough to get his upgrades in.
Yep. That's pretty much, he just needs to get +4 armor, is the main one. Like, obviously Cavalier is also good, but the +4 is the biggest one, considering he's facing Arbs.
He has 2 relics at the moment. He's getting a 3rd from Orange's base, but it's not in yet. He's been denied the one from Red's base.
Yeah,
so
he's never getting Lomeister's relic until he cleans up all this army.
I think Timber, the damage they're getting here, that's a huge Doubt Castle.
Oh boy.
From Blue.
This is actually looking pretty good. The eco though is still pretty decent for Char. She's got similar build counts. She's only 10 behind Snedo at this point, but the army counts is 50 crossbows to 7 at the moment. This castle should never go up as long as Snedo leaves like 10 crossbows just sitting there.
Yeah, and Snedo should be up now, but there's things happening in Timber's base as well, as SalaDin has decided that Liam's too hard a nut to crack. We just go straight to the other pocket.
I think that honestly that's good though, because this allows Liam to get to Imp, get his upgrades, and then he can hopefully come in and clean this army. And like, yes, it obviously hurts Timber to
but he also
is
not the late game scaler, yeah.
And he's also just not the carry position right now. Liam's got Cavalier, he's got +4 on the way, he just needs to wait for a minute, essentially, until he gets his upgrades, and then he should be able to clean this, even by himself. And while this is going on, Timber, he's not slacking, he is still dealing a ton of damage. Unfortunately, I'm not sure why Snedo is walking back and letting Char build these 2 castles. I guess maybe they're thinking that they need help? Oh, why are you taking this fight before your upgrades?
Liam, wait.
+4 is 10 seconds away.
10. Yeah, he's just lost 10 units. This is unfortunate.
Now you can take the fight. As soon as you have +4, you're absolutely fine to take this. Yeah. And then we do see SalaDin also on the way up to Imperial Age. But we're going to have 2 in Imp for Liam's team versus just a single player in Imp for SalaDin. Well, actually, no, sorry, it's not SalaDin. I just already got one. I forgot about Nipples. But Nipples doesn't actually have very much army once this gets cleaned up in the front. He's got, what, like 10 arbs at home? And nothing in production?
Fully empty queue. Yeah. He's got the res for a lot of things as well. He could do a switch to Halberdier. He could throw down some more rangers. He's still playing on 2 rangers. He could afford his own defensive castle.
Oh, but
Snedo's getting eaten a bit at home, but
yeah, SalaDin's swung to the top side. Yep. But to be fair, like Liam's already halfway to that base, so he may as well just come over here and help clean up. Oh, but that's a good engagement by Bonk, getting in between the crossbows and the TC so they can't just run away. And just as he hits Imperial Age, he loses half of his army.
I think he loses all of it, to be honest.
Yeah, before any of the upgrades come in, they're just all going to die right now. Incredible timing right there from SalaDin and Bonk. And Liam's Cavalier, okay, they are on their way over now.
Oh,
Oof.
it's a good castle. I mean, he could be even more aggressive if he wanted it, Captain Nipples. But
It's in range of the TT, that's all that really matters.
yeah.
It also secures the relic, which is somewhat relevant.
hmm Yeah, Liam's relic got sniped on the way back from the walking between Timber's base, so he's still only on +2.
Which is still, the same as any other paladin that's fully upgraded, so it's not the end of the world. It's a fine position to be in.
Oh, there's the Castle Age eco upgrades from SalaDin coming in now.
Yeah, a little bit rough. You'd think that as students especially, they've got such a strong eco, so it saves so much wood in their farms, you'd be able to afford at least one of them as soon as you get Castle Age.
Yeah, I'm also not sold on what Bonk's doing here. He's gone full Castle Age spam, but he has like, if he cancelled all that and like sold his stone, which he has a lot of, he could go up to Imp now as well.
I mean, I think just staying like full Lycav, to be honest, and just letting SalaDin come take the gold and do his own paladin might make sense, instead of having both players have to tech into, the expensive and long upgrade that is paladin. Just try to save the gold and localize it all in a single player to do all of the strong units.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's not sharing the gold. He's
Yeah,
just taking it himself.
I know. The idea.
In theory, it's good. In theory, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And Lawmeister is
absolutely destroyed. I mean, I guess there is a defensive castle coming from Liam. He's making some trebs, but Lawmeister really just needs to concentrate on rebooming. To be honest, he needs to get back behind Liam's base and just drop some TCs and and try to get some eco so that he can add something. Adding, 15 or 20 crossbows is kind of useless once you have players in Imperial Age, because all of the crossbow damage is tanked by +4 armor. You do 1 damage a shot, so you may as well be making skirms and saving your gold and starting to, trade boom or something so that you can be useful and selling gold once you get to Imp.
Timber. Will. Sorry, I did in response to Dead Meat. He'll probably just go like Hussar Heavy Camel or Hussar Cavalier and just play full Cav still. He won't switch into CA.
He's switching into camels, but I think Hussar camels makes the most sense.
Oh, there's a fight, but there's no fighting. Liam's a bit disconnected from the fight.
He's worrying a little bit about both sides, so sometimes it's a little difficult to patrol on both sides at correct times.
He's got a hole in his base. Oh, it's all happening. This is like just as his paladin kicks in now as well. So they should clean the top site pretty effectively, but with Snedo hasn't added any siege as of yet. Like, he doesn't have the econ for it.
Right.
So
he does have a castle though, so he could start to make some trebs. Instead he's making a battering ram. I think trebs would be the better option. And we do see Paladin on the way for Saladin, less than a minute to go.
And he's getting another. Oh, that's a cheeky castle from Saladin. Denies the gold there from the Liam could get onto Lawmeister's gold.
Yeah, to be honest, like
if it goes up.
Yeah, if it goes up, there's not a lot of villages for that aggressive of a castle. But
again, the thought was there.
It'll go up eventually, right? As soon as the Paladin upgrade is in, this army is just going to get completely swept, and then the castle can be built. But we just
Liam's team cannot trade. Like, they're doing a trade now, but it's so short, and it's...
Yeah. I think they need to concentrate on either killing Char Char as quickly as possible, or recovering Lawmeister's base.
Lawmeister's base, yeah.
Because one of their pockets just needs to get access to another player's gold, and then they are maybe in an okay position. Realistically, you want it to be Liam, because the Turk Hussars are kind of okay to just keep making those, but you need Liam spamming out Paladin as much as possible. They did actually trap down Nipples' forward castle. I'm not sure if Liam should be taking these engagements, to be honest. He needs to wait for a bit more mass.
Oh, and Snedo's army... Oh, again, we're talking about earlier about possibly getting faster researching for Heavy Camel, because it takes so long, and Timber is having to... They're just having to dance around the top, trying to wait for it to come in.
I mean, the thing is, he doesn't even need Heavy Camel at this point, right? I think just Hussars
for the time being
would have been perfectly fine, because you're mostly worried about the Arb mass, and so then the extra Pierce armor that the Hussars have, once they get +4, would be perfectly adequate. But Liam is actually cleaning up Lawmeister's base pretty well. Unfortunately, Lawmeister still has not added any new TCs,
behind this.
So he's still only on 21 bills. He hasn't even got a TC at the moment, because his initial TC was destroyed by the castle.
And that's one of the biggest things you want from your flanks, or whoever takes this sort of damage, is just accept that you're not going to be as relevant, but just make econ. Just make econ. Eventually, people will be able to give you res. Eventually, you'll be able to get back into it. But for now, it's just a matter of do your best to make as many vills as you can.
Yep. It does look like Snedo and Timber's army might get cleaned up shortly. They are actually fighting though before Bonk gets his Imperial Age upgrades, which is definitely not ideal. But he really wants to build this castle, which does now go up to secure their trade line. Now trading from Bonk's base down to the bottom of Nipples. And I think that honestly, if Snedo had just made like 2 or 3 trebs out of his castle, they could have just pushed the front of Char Char's base instead of risking their army trying to sneak around the top side. But just the big Hussar waves are coming in now to clean Jar Jar, because if Bonk doesn't have a front line to protect her arbs, she just gets ripped into by Hussars that essentially have the same PS armor as a Paladin. So they're almost as good as Paladin against arbs, which is quite impressive. But now we're seeing the Halberdier switch on the other side for Mr. Nipples.
Which is going to make it extremely difficult, as Liam has taken to Winged Hussar himself, but Winged Hussar at this stage, it's tough. It's tough against Japanese held to try and make any impact.
And they're also not that great Winged Hussars, right? Like the Polish ones with the trample damage, they're actually kind of okay against Helbs, purely because of the trample. But these are just vanilla Hussars that are missing the last attack upgrade because they don't get the relic boost. Which means he can never really take this engagement versus the 2 players on his side. Shed, the Turkish Hussars with the extra PS armor are almost as good as Paladin because they take the same amount of damage. As opposed to normal Hussars where they take, what, twice as much damage?
Yeah, the HP is a bit different, but it is... Oh, can he get in here? Timber can't get in here. It's pretty rough.
Just trying to go for raids.
They're both pockets are deciding that they can't really take the fights at the front by themselves. They're going to try and raid.
Makes
And
sense.
this is one of those times where you get those the Teuton mobility does matter, but really you should have these castles up already. You should have the defense up. You can hold the line.
True. It's not a huge amount of army though, is the issue, but yes, it's very, very hard to chase this for Paladin. You might almost ask Bonk, hey, can you just send some of your pikes over here? That might do it. But, you know, Bonk has just got a line of castles on his side.
Char-Char's on no attack stance or something under his castle. he just
Oh.
he watched Bonk lose half his army while not fighting. But Snedo is being a bit aggressive here, considering he doesn't have the numbers from Timber to back him up.
And he's still committing to the capped ram play instead of just making a triple 2. Which I think would be much safer, much easier to just sit there and defend a handful of trebs. But the castle spam is actually continuing throughout their ecos to protect their growing trade line. But Liam is just... I mean, he's really
He's
stuck.
doing his best.
He's switching to skirms, which is not really what you want to see as a pocket. But we do finally see that Lolmeister has now built 2 TCs to start adding a little bit of eco.
I'm
Yes,
sure you're... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, yes, Char Char is not a he, Prawn. Char Char is a
Oh,
she.
they're not. My apologies. I've just been saying he is. Without knowing.
Habas, yeah.
Well, I genuinely had no idea, so it was...
That's fine.
As you say, yes, just to have it. Oh, look at Snedo Stone Miners, though. I respect that. They did not need a second mining camp. They just was doing their best
Oh boy.
under his castle. But yeah, as I was looking at it specifically because I'm trying to look at the trade that Timber is getting from his trips. It's 39 gold. He does have a fair number, but without... Like, Liam is trying to extend the trade range to make it, like, closer to 50 gold, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to defend that once SalaDin starts coming forward with his Paladin mass again.
SalaDin's getting 60-ish gold per trip, and he also has more trade than all of Liam's team combined by himself. And then Bonk also has a very large amount of trade. So they've sort of left their flanks a little bit to take damage and concentrate on getting trade up. And then soon they're going to be able to switch back into making gold units and be far more effective in the long run.
Yeah, this is one of those where you're looking at the pops and you're like 180, 180, 140 for Liam's team, and then a 37, which is just
Yep. They're essentially 50 vills behind, and they're close to equal on army. They're actually slightly ahead of army at the moment because they've cleaned up quite a bit of Bonk and Char Char's army. But it's purely because Lolmeister is so far behind in eco that they're massively behind. And then eventually, you know, they're just going to be 100 pop behind when everyone starts to get close to 200 cap. because Lomais is so out of this game, unfortunately.
Mr. Bailo, you think that we don't speak Finnish? I'll have you know that I have no idea how to speak that language, unfortunately, but Robo does. So I'm
Oh,
sure
no, no, no.
he'll.
I was hoping that you were gonna just pull something out of the back pocket there and show up
All
a
I know
previously
is
unknown.
it's just greetings, dear viewer, man. But spoken with a Finnish accent. That's all I know.
Gotcha, gotcha.
It's a mild reference. If anyone gets that reference, I do appreciate you, but otherwise, it's fine. Yeah, okay. Saladin's in here. Like the 3 castle defense from Liam will stop them, but like all his skirms are going to get eated by the
I mean, it's
elements.
just a stalling pattern at this point because as
Mhm.
soon as SalaDin is fully back on Paladin, which he's starting to get to, he's got quite a few Paladin in queue. Make a few more trebs, and then they're just gonna clean this up.
Do you see where his scout cav are though? They're just stuck behind
They're
Chakra's
just-
barracks. They're just not going.
they're just stuck there. We want to see the student like
Oh, yeah,
get in.
sorry.
Oh, the student scouts get in there. Let's go.
Yeah.
Get that fight in there.
Snedo and Timber are doing their best to push up the top side, but
I enjoy
Yeah,
the fact that
it's-
there's finally a Trebuchet.
yeah,
I mean-
it's Bonks now in there with he should.
I do
Yeah,
think
he does.
He's still making Cavalier. I think he should just wait Paladin. Like, research Paladin and
Yeah,
then make
that's
them.
what I was saying. It's like
Yeah.
either wait for Paladin, but then I was looking at his food count, he didn't have it. Saladin has just given him 1500 food, so he should be able to hold. He's got 5k wood as well, which I know is bottomed out, but like sell it for like the 100 gold you get, a couple hundred gold you can get.
Yeah. I do actually start to significantly push back here. There's both flanks are almost just fully skirms, which means that it's really up to the pockets to make anything happen, as the skirms do so little damage. Something else that I noticed is that none of Saladin's team have picked up the relics, which I think we'll find when we get to the end of the game that Liam's going to have like 2 or 3k gold purely from relics, which is
Yeah,
pretty
I'm just trying to work
useful
out where they
because-
are. Like, where's Grey Relic? Is there meant to be one per player? There
There's
is, right?
supposed to be one per player, yes. Oh, okay. Saladin has a monk holding Grey's relic on the farms to the left of his base. And then there's the relic next to Saladin's castle. There's a relic next to some of Bonk's barracks, and then there's one in Blue's base somewhere. At the top of Blue's base. Yeah, so all the relics are just sitting there, being untaken, and they also could have picked up Red's relic as well. To have that extra little bit of gold income for presumably Saladin while he's making his mass paladin.
I see. But yeah, the snowball is getting further and further away from Snedo's top side at least. Although it's one of those also, he's also missing, like the advantage you have in a Mongol versus Mongol versus Chinese fight here is that you get the +4 armor, but unfortunately he hasn't clicked it, so.
And it also
Doesn't
doesn't
even
really
hit that.
matter if there's enough of a front line, because you're never really
Yep.
shooting the enemy skirms.
This is
But
true.
the army difference is insane. There's 60 army for Liam and 200 for Saladin. And they are actually equal on villages. Lawmeister has almost gotten himself into a boom position in the game, but someone has to sling him gold so that he can go up to Imperial Age. And sling him gold so that he can start to make trade, which is not helping.
Saladin is formerly known as Zagamex, but he is now rebranded as Saladin. Mr. Almonds.
Yep, and Liam's just losing all of his castles right now. The push on the bottom side. There's even Paladin going in for a raid on the trade, it seems.
Yeah, and Liam's been trying to match those with his own Paladin, but now he has the numbers to do it, and he has like roughly 200 pop, but it's like giving up the front to do it. He's lost all 3 castles there.
Yep. And then also his Paladin are just worse than the Tudor ones, because he has +1 attack, and they have +2 armor. So like he's 1 damage behind what he needs. If he'd gotten that 4th relic from Lomaice's base, then they would be essentially equal. But unfortunately, he was unable to get that.
Humble, are you saying, do you make trade or go Impia as who?
I think
At this
presumably
point-
Lawmeister. It's too
At
late
this
for
point-
Lawmeister. Like,
Yeah.
this was a question 20 minutes ago. If he'd started rebooming once everybody else is starting to hit him. Because then, you know, Liam could afford to sling him 300 gold and say, make trade cards, and then you'll be able to naturally go up to imp at some point. But at this
Yeah.
stage, it's too late. Like, by the time he starts to make trade, and then starts to make a profit on them, it'll be 10 minutes in the future, and the game will be over.
Yeah, like if he did exactly what he's doing now, which is he's dropped 4 TC, He's moved all his econ back. He's like pumping out as many vills as he can. If he did that like as soon as he got defeated in Castle Age, then yeah, as you were saying, he would have reached this point 10, 15 minutes ago. And they're slinging him res still, but like the res is not, it's not going to go anywhere at this point. So
No. Like,
he
honestly,
needs to
like,
go in.
just making Castle Age skirms would probably be the most useful thing that he could do to try to shoot down the
Assist
Grey
Liam.
Helms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of having to sling him 800 gold and then sling him another, I don't know, another 800 gold to get all the upgrades that he needs. Just start to make Castle Age skirms because he's already got most of the upgrades for them. But it,
You know what I
does
can't
not look good.
believe is Liam hasn't researched hill forts to get his TCs to defend his trade. Kind of crazy. I want to see how many unique techs we can get this game. Can we get any more? Can we get any Yasamas or Kataparuto? We
I mean,
don't have any of
have we
that.
actually seen any of the unique techs?
Crenellations. We have crenellations in from Mr. Saladin.
Oh, true. Okay, that's one.
Do we have drill? Do we have drill going on? Little nomads? Yo, nomads on this map, kinda cool. Deletes all your houses, you have more room. There's the GG from Steno.
True,
Alright,
yeah.
they're calling it.
I mean, yeah, which of these unique techs would actually be useful? I think the atheism tech, the
Oh,
Huns, would actually be
I
good.
was about to say,
Yeah.
against the Lithuanian player.
Yeah,
That's like
just
one thing.
because you know that he's going to be picking up the relics. Just reduce that gold income a little bit.
I think your context was a bit different, Humble, when you made them. Trying to remember that game. Was that when Humble's on Noz's team, right?
Yes.
That
And we
was that
just
the
need.
Flight versus Noz game?
Oh, let me just go open up Wikipedia in the other tab.
When my guy got yeeted by the Saracen double stable. That was that side, right? I think it was like
Yes.
your skirms were like, it was the same thing, right? Where you just needed to get more vills pumping earlier and then make the skirm. It was like you were making skirms and not making vills. Was the I think that was the concern.
It's also like the stage of the game when you're making them, because the Saracen player is never making helbs, so skirms don't help you against camels. But when there's, 40 Japanese helbs running around, having skirms to try to counter them is better than doing nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Liam ended up getting 3,000 gold from relics, and he only had 3 of them. Remember, it's like if Saladin had picked up 5 relics at a reasonable time in Castle Age, he would have had, 4,000 gold or something extra. But just
hmm
the trade difference is
Yeah,
incredibly huge
look
at
at
this
that gold
stage.
count.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Oh, that was pretty solid. Let's jump out and we'll go compare what the civs were and how it went. So they got a win with Japanese. Wait,
It's
no.
not looking good for the Robo take a shot every time he gets a civ wrong. Oh, nuts.
Oh, we're not going there. We got shooting some
Alright.
Mongols. That was correct. We said the Huns was not
Got
going to be there though.
I said Hans was going to be there.
I
Oh,
did.
wait,
I didn't.
sorry.
I didn't.
Yeah. I gotta compare with your one. Hold on.
I'm
I
just
didn't
looking at
back the
my ones.
Mongols. Yeah. Okay. So you got Mongols, you got Teutons, Italians, and Berbers. Yeah, they ended up.
Yeah,
Where
and
they go?
then
Japanese and
the Japanese and Huns. And then on the other side, I had Lithuanians and Incas correct. And then I thought they would use Chinese, and we thought they would use Slavs.
oh, I was about to say I got these all right, but I'm pretty sure I changed them. Like as the game was starting,
Ah,
I did Liam's team as like
oh,
a update,
cheater,
so I was
cheater.
keeping track. I still have my screenshot in our DMs.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
true.
got
You can always
I
go back
got
to that.
three. I got 2 out of 3. The 2 out of 4. Damn.
Right, let me go out pay out the predictions as well. Saladin's team was the favorite in the predictions with 66%.
Yeah, I mean, Saladin's team is the one coming into the set with a 2-0 record. There is.
True, true indeed. The question though becomes, what pocket sieve do they use in Arabia? Do they do Malians and Berbers?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
they don't
Oh,
have any more good paladin sieves, right? Like that's what I was saying. Like Huns
oh,
has to be for Arabia for paladin, but
are they going to run the Burgundian? Are they going to do it?
no, I think Burgundy has to
It's
be
not it.
frontline.
It's not it, Chief, right?
It's no, it can't be. It can't be. I pray that it's not. In the first round, they did use Burgundians as deep pocket on frontline, so there is
prior things to
some
go.
prior history there. I mean, I think their best pockets are Malians and Berbers, so I feel like you sort of have to use the 2 of them. on Arabia if you're trying to win Arabia, of course.
I was about to bring up this is the time for the Bulgarians to shine as as an option.
I mean, I would almost say that if you think that they're going to use Khmer, Portuguese, and Persians, that you just throw
Sack
Arabia and
Arabia.
just commit yourself to winning frontline. Right, like you'd switch Vietnamese or something to frontline. So you have like Vietnamese, Berbers, Burgundians, and then I guess Bulgarians or something on the front
Hmm.
instead of committing Vietnamese to the flank on Arabia. So the
So
question
you're
is
looking at Liam's
Slavs.
team.
Yeah, do they have Khmer and
Yeah,
Slavs for Arabia, or
I
do they
think
stick with
it's the
Persians?
discussion we had of
Yeah.
Persians or Slavs. Which one do you prefer? And then whichever one you don't use, you throw on. Do you even throw them onto frontline? Because I'm looking at like the way I've got it laid out with like Goths and Poles
Yeah,
as a 1-2.
yeah. I think Goths, Poles, Spanish, Koreans seems like such an incredibly powerful frontline civs, and then you have Khmer, Portuguese, Slavs, and Saracens. And you just don't use Persians.
Yeah, but maybe it depends on whoever is playing frontline. Are they more comfortable playing a Poles frontline or a Goth frontline as the first civ, or and then you can put whichever cav civ is the third, rather than playing Poles as your cav civ.
True. But I mean, you've already got Spanish for Paladin, so you don't need to have another Paladin civ in Persians, right?
Yep.
So I think that using the Poles as like the scout civ makes a lot more sense than using Poles as the Trush civ and then having Persians do scouts.
Hmm.
Right, because especially because there's so little gold and the trade is so bad on frontline that the cheap cavaliers, even though they're obviously less population efficient, has a huge amount of value in just having a reasonably decent unit that is relatively low gold cost. And then you've also got obviously the trample damage hussars.
Hmm. Trying to think, why would you pick Slavs that early unless they had a plan for them? It was the same rotation as Lith, right? But even still. Hmm.
I mean, yeah, I feel like at this point, I guess maybe they want to have an SO civ, but they've got potentially Saracens or Koreans doing SO on front
Yeah.
line, so they don't need to use Slavs for that specific role.
What happens if they bait and switch Koreans as your archer flank,
Yeah, like
and you
like
play Portuguese on front line going guns?
I don't like that. You've got Spanish doing conks. I think the question is
Yeah.
like, is Saracens or Koreans the other Arabia flank, and like the other one obviously just slots into frontline. I think.
It should be the same team. It looks like it's the same players rolling in for game two. Dead meat. I mean, if you get to SO on front line, that's happened a couple times, Panda. Like the game does can go quite late if you get um, if you get yourself in a decent position
Yep.
with like stone walls and full trade. Even if it's a short trade, you still can get the gold to afford it. Lawmeister goes Persians. There is a rule that we cannot douche. There is no douching allowed, so you can't give Persians to the front person
Yep.
and tell them to
Unfortunately,
go drop the TC.
I mean, I think that you can douche like later in the game, but you can't just like send it at minute 6 sort of thing.
Hmm.
It needs to be like in feudal age or something like that.
Yeah.
Which at that point it's probably kind of difficult to actually douche. I would guess.
Hmm.
I mean, maybe you could go up and like 17 pop or something, and just
Just walk the
as
vills
soon,
forward with
yeah, as soon as you hit feudal age, you delete the TC and you rebuild it. I guess there's a
Oh,
possibility that that might work. Persians feel great for lower elo boomers, can do decent scouts and very smooth Dark Age. Yes, but then the issue sort of becomes because the TCs work faster, it's not as easy to keep up a solid boom, I feel. Because you end up spending a lot more food on villages if you're not paying attention. Right? If you just blindly go 3 TCs, 2 stables, all of a sudden you can't afford to keep both the stables running. Because you're essentially doing 4 TCs, even though you've only got 3. So it's quite easy to, I think, make a mistake on that front.
yeah. It is just sometimes you just forget, and then you end up with that the whole idle. You look at you get that old idle TC tracking going on Capture Age, and you're like, wow, that number is it's climbing.
Yeah,
It's
it's
climbing
big.
pretty high.
Yeah, like for me, Liam's draft, like obviously the Celts random is just like whatever, but we're currently looking at them not using Persians, right? Or they're like not going to use Slavs. That doesn't make any sense. Not going to use Poles, I guess maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
they're just Slavs doing scouts into knights on frontline
on
instead of
front line,
Poles,
yeah.
and then they don't
But
use
it did me
Poles.
when you're saying as a 1K player, which Civ would I be comfortable with on Era, I'm pretty sure Lolmeister won't be playing unless let me just double check. Let me just
I assume frontline.
yeah, he's playing flank. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be the front guy, and his job is just to stall the enemy as much as possible, and then try to reboot him a little bit better than he did in Donut.
Hmm.
Because if someone's gonna die, it may as well be the weaker player. And the lobby has started. The Spectre is starting to run.
Alright, here we go. What did we get wrong this time?
Oops, first of all, I gotta leave the previous game so I can join the next one.
Ah, see, come on. Burgundians, man. You gotta believe me, man. Saladin is a
What?
Burgundian enjoyer
I hate
on
it with
Arabia.
passion. It's almost as much as I hate Vikings on flank is hating Burgundians on Arabia.
Yeah.
Because
Maybe he's looking and he's like, yo, there's no way the other team can punish me.
but
Saracen
the problem is that
flank?
you know that both of the opposition's highest rated players are playing pocket. So they just commit to heavy feudal scouts bloodlines and then they just roll over you because you can't fight them.
Yeah. And you also like all the civs they had to play there are gonna be bloodlines, so there's no Franks that you can get away with. Like no bloodlines or anything like that. So
I think Franks is like the only civ where it's like kind of maybe okay to play Burgundians. But again, you've only got a 50-50
mm,
being against the Frank player. And you're still behind by 9 HP on every scout. So
yeah.
it's not a good fight, it's just less bad. Oh, let me remember to go do the predictions. Oh, I've done
Yeah.
it. Two
So
games in a row now without the chat having to tell me to do it. I am proud of
but they
myself.
are running the Malians though to go with that. And they are doing Dravidian Vietnamese? Yep. Dravidian Vietnamese against Portuguese Saracen. Yep.
Makes sense. And then they have the
Khmer
Slavs.
Slav.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means probably not playing Persians, or Persians are switched with Poles if we make it to game
Or
three,
not
of course.
not playing Goth. Is I don't know,
I
like
mean, I guess they
because
could
it's
not play
only because
Goths.
it's the last pick, right? That's the bit that's like
Yeah.
if it was swapped, like Poles was the last pick, then you can be like, oh, Poles could be the go where you want it to go. But it feels like Goths is just like a last pick because we needed one.
I guess it is also a
I could be
question
wrong.
of if Lolmice is not comfortable going for the heavy lame, then using Goths doesn't make as much sense, right? Like, they're perfect to go and lame as many deers and whatnot as possible because of the instant loom. And if you're not
Hmm.
doing that, then you lose that value very quickly. But this time we should be talking about Arabia, not frontline. We'll see if
We
we
should.
make it to game three. Once again, I'll just run through Team Liam. We got Lawmeister on the flank again as the Saracens, being backed up by the mighty Liam. They've also rotated colours for some reason, which is very annoying. Liam is now in the purple as the Khmer. Then we have Timber in the yellow as the Slavs, and then finally we've got Snedo again playing as the Portuguese. We'll keep an eye on him to see if he goes for the mill first strategy.
Yep. And on the other side, we have starting the blue Cha Cha playing as the Vietnamese. Behind them in pocket, it's once again Bonk, but this time playing Malians. Saladin is taking the Burgundians, and you got Captain Nibbles playing Dravidians.
I very much appreciate that they have all kept the exact same colours. Makes it
Yes.
it makes it much easier to remember who's who.
So now they're like the sides have swapped though. As in Snedo is now against Captain Nipples, and Lawmeister is against Cha Cha, which will make for a bit of a different flow to the game, I guess, right? Because last game you had the stronger flanks against each other and the weaker flanks against each other. Same with the pockets, right?
Yeah,
So now
true.
there's a possibility of Liam's side could like maybe Snedo holds up better against the Saladin and they could try and get something going. But it also means that Lawmeister could equally take an even bigger sausage than he did last game.
Yep. He's got two villagers wandering out in the middle of the map towards the right of his TC,
Huh.
and his scout is going forwards. Oh, I forgot to change the overlay. My bad, peoples. Noob streamer.
He is going for the lame, it seems. This is
It looks
cool.
he's heading
but not good
straight.
because he's not going the right way.
I think he's going looking straight for the pocket, right?
Okay,
Like
that's
somebody on his team should be able to tell him the flank is directly south of where your villager is, right? He has to
yeah.
be
He's
aiming
getting
for the
pinged
pocket.
now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Liam's pinged him. He's let him know.
That's unfortunate. I don't think there's going to be anything to lame at this stage. Like, maybe you can kill. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's far too late
let's
to
not
be
look at
effective.
that. You know what we should do? We should look at Snedo going for that cheeky Portuguese on berries build. So he is going with it.
What do you
I'm
mean
going
by
for it
cheeky?
straight away.
This is just strat.
Listen, Robo. Again, we're just gonna let me flow. All right, let me flow. I'll say the wrong thing. It's
Okay, okay,
okay.
okay.
I will. We'll just let it happen. Or Snedo, he could that could us. His baller was a bit questionable.
Well, Lawmice is very, very close to the TC now. I'm wondering if he's just gonna click. Okay, no, he's found where the TC is. He's not gonna walk into the TC with his vills. He might do it with the scout though. He does do it with the scout. He's potentially stealing a single pig. Value from the laming. Nope, and the pig goes back. I think this is a very sus strategy. I guess the reason they're doing it with Saracens is purely so that they have the archer bonus for the Portuguese player, and then
Hmm.
otherwise it's just a throwaway civ. But I'm pretty sure that he's not allowed to attack buildings with his vills.
Correct, but he could ward in. If he walled in the gold before the archers got there, could have. Is he gonna try and? He's
But
gonna try and wall them in.
I'm not sure if that's allowed though, because you're not
You
allowed to
can
fight
vil
back.
fight.
Can you? I thought you weren't allowed to vil fight. I thought like the Faily shenanigans were not allowed.
Think. Oh, okay. This is going to be an admin decision, but my understanding of the rules was you can't attack buildings, but you could attack bills. Oh, that's a. This is a. This
Yeah.
is team admin is making a play with what they're
I know
doing
the
here.
rules do not say that you can't vil fight, but you can't attack. You can't attack buildings with villas and archers in the enemy's base. Um,
Hmm.
I I guess that's okay because this is not the enemy base. This is your base, so you are allowed to attack the vills. So I
Like
guess
blue fighting back.
yeah. So blue can kill orange's palisades because they're not in the enemy base. They're in
Yeah,
her own base, so she can fight it off.
yeah. And this is how we got done on BF when Nagus got his range killed. Was perfectly fine because it was in the enemy's base
Well,
where he got killed.
even so, on BF you're allowed to
It
attack
was feudal.
buildings just because it's BF.
I think there was like
Oh yeah,
questionable rulings around that.
the rules weren't well worded, but the intention was that you can do anything on BF because that's how BF is played,
Yeah,
right?
but it's like it's very. This thing is very confusing if you're looking purely at the rules rather than the
Yep,
spirit of the
yep,
rules.
yeah. As they are written, that does make sense. The issue is like Char Char is still on the way up to feudal age. Obviously, her wood eco is absolutely potato, and then in feudal age you'll struggle to add farms. But even just like one range archers, or even just like a barracks and some spears, a couple of spearmen to support Bonk's scouts should just
Hmm.
defeat Lawmeister. Because Liam, Eskimo, is not going to build his own barracks, so he's got no way to actually kill any spearmen that Char Char makes.
Captain Nipple's build has been pretty no bueno as well. Like he's trying to do, they're doing the fighting in Sinnoh's base, delaying the ranges, but it meant that his own ranges are being delayed, and he's like had idle GC time.
He's spending a lot of wood on walls instead of building his buildings.
He has the wood. He has the wood to drop both ranges and drop his blacksmith. It's
Oh, weird.
Dravidian
Yeah, Dravidian privilege.
privilege.
Yep, yep. He's got a whole village's worth of idle time. Char Char has 2 vills. Lawmeister has 4 vills worth of idle time. So,
Yep.
I'm
And he
not sure
can
if the laming strats
almost
are
a
paying
good
off.
cook up. Like if he cancelled his vills, he could go up, but he's not cancelling them. So
Oh. And he's also didn't find 4 of his sheep. Or take his deer. So his, his footing is not ideal. I think even...
oh, and Liam's trying to catch his trying to find his sheep and give it to him rather than going forward with his aggressive trying to fight Bonk. So
Yep. I feel like, yeah, with
well,
this sort of
Liam
strategy...
shouldn't help him. That's what did me. He shouldn't help him. Liam should just ignore him, pretend
Yes.
he's not there, and try and win the 1v1 against the pocket.
Yep, exactly. Like,
That's
his
what
first scouts should just be beelining it to Bonk's base and trying to harass his berries or something and disrupt his scout production. Liam should help him. The problem is that he's dead. You're helping the dead player, which means that you're just going to die to the 2v1 in the next, 3 minutes time, as soon as there's a couple of archers or spears out in the field.
I replied to Deadmeat, and then Robo we're having the conversation, and then Robo replies to Deadmeat.
Yeah.
You've been told twice now, boy.
Yeah, twice. I need to make it incredibly clear that this is a very bad idea.
Yeah. I mean, Cha-Cha has done like a decent job, like a very good job getting fletching, getting the double range out, but the production from now is there's no vills coming. There's very little archers coming as the gold and the wood both need to come in.
They are kind of being helped by the fact that Bonk has all of his scouts here attacking palisade walls instead of trying to be aggressive. This is allowing Liam's, potential misplay and helping his flank actually, work out in the end. But on the other side,
I'm intrigued. SalaDin's this fight on the hill. Snitto's not all the way on top of the hill, so he gets cleaned up here.
I think they should still win this though, just because of the scouts.
Mm,
Or closely,
yeah.
they just lose. It looks like
They get the scout pathing buff. I mean, debuff.
yeah. Melee units debuff.
But I was looking at Saladin's build here, and he's got wheelbarrow, he's got bowsaw, he's got horse claw. Doesn't have heavy plow.
Doing
and is
wheelbarrow this
playing-
early is sus.
I'm not sure if he did it on before or after going. It's surely going after up, but
Yeah, no, it has to be like.
yeah. Hang on, I was like delaying an 18 pop scout build for a wheelbarrow is
No. But like the problem is like wheelbarrow is most efficient when you have 15 to 16 farms, and he's only just now got 13, so he's not even getting like maximum value from wheelbarrow. And like yes, it's cheaper, so it's a little bit easier to afford it early. But like I
mean, he's
prefer to
got
have
his,
heavy plow instead of wheelbarrow at this stage of the game.
Oh, Cha-Cha getting the damage taken on the hill? No, Liam? Oh, is it happening? No, it's not.
No, because
No vills were killed.
even if he did try to kill the Vild, like the scouts are still just going to get in there and punish him for it. Because like just
box
the free
formation,
little
my
damage.
guy. Box formation. Oh.
Oh, I mentioned that was a quick ball. I mentioned that stable had been placed slightly differently to block in the scouts.
Could have been. Yeah, but also Saladin was going triple Vill wall.
Yeah.
There is a fight happening here with Timber is trying his best to like make work with the +1 armor he's got over the top of Saladin and Snitto. Little micro fight coming on.
Yeah, I'm really not sure if they've played this to the best of their ability on the top side. I feel like just playing defensively until you get bloodlines and then you just absolutely roll them would be a better way to play this. Although they are going to clean up the army now from Nipples.
Meanwhile, Bonk has lost his scout numbers. He's lost his mass. He's having to go like that second stable is going to have to be used here if he wants to try and keep up.
Yep. But
Liam's dropping his second as well. He's already got the armor. He's get bloodlines with the second stable, so he doesn't lose scout production time.
and Longmeister is now starting to make archers. Obviously, he's far behind in numbers compared to Cha-Cha, but I mean, I guess Cha-Cha had so little food that she couldn't afford to make any spearmen.
Yeah.
But like, even just Bonk adding 1 or 2 spears to support the archers and then just walking forwards into Liam's base, I think would just defeat him. Like 2 spears,
If you were
10
to-
archers can't be fought by scouts really.
Yeah. If you were to check idle time, like there's a significant like 6-fill lead for Longmeister.
Yeah, Cha-Cha has 5 minutes of idle TT time. And
Yikes.
Longmeister only has the 1 minute 50 that he had in Dark Age before he had build production fully rolling.
I'm not a fan of Timber and Snetto's combination play. They're like Timber chose to try and zone the Saladin scouts, but all he did was meant that Nipples got to out micro Snetto and traded like 6 for 1 with the trade, and then came.
I mean, he does now
It's
have
like you're coming
bloodlines,
back in
so
and you're winning the fight, but
yes, no, it's just lost a lot of archers in the process.
yeah, you don't have much. Oh, there's a lot of idle vills though
Yeah,
from the wood, but
also if he just guaranteed his TC, he would have cleaned up those scouts. To be honest, like just 2 volleys from the TC absolutely takes them almost out of the game. We do see the
Castle Snetto. Let's go.
Liam
Sorry,
and
carry
Longmeister are sneaking towards Bonk space. Yeah, I think just Cha-Cha has not been playing this to the best, right? She's just been incredibly defensive when you would expect that you should have an advantage over the guy who sacrificed his ego to lame you at the start of the game. Oh, and Longmeister's scouts, archers, sorry, just getting jumped
Getting
by
caught by
Bonk.
the scouts. Who has got forging, has got +1 bloodlines is on the way. You say he's walled hard, he is. However, we do have some Saracen archers that can in fact break the walls.
Oh, true.
If he's like sitting on the hill shooting down at the palisade here, even with 4, that's a lot of work you can get done. And you can deny the Vills walling behind as well. There's a bit of confusion going on with them right now, but
No, yep. I think you just leave Lawmeister to die. I'm gonna go. I mean, honestly, protecting 4 archers is like not really worth it. I don't think
yeah.
they're
If
they're
I can get to
relatively
Saladin
useless.
space here. Ooh.
But look at this. We've got 3 players lined up to Castle Age for Team Liam, and Saladin is the first to click up to Castle Age for his team.
I'm not a fan of. I guess maybe it's a bit much to ask, but Longmeister not having a market at this point, like he should be up to castle as well.
Yeah, just abusing the Saracen bonus. He doesn't have a ton of
Yeah, I
gold, but like
think-
obviously just selling 200 stone and buying, almost 300 food for it.
or
is
even
pretty
the
good.
wood as well. Like that's a.
Yeah, wood as well. True
I
indeed.
think no one's really used the market. Looking at the prices, there's been 4 buys of food. There's been 1 sell of wood.
Yeah, there's not
It's-
been very much at all. Everyone's still got their stone as well.
Yeah, they're gonna clean up the
that's
army in Saladin space.
that's not the correct position to be in.
He's 86% as well, Liam. If you could just if this was like Cav, or you back it, but like
I don't know about that. I think
Uh.
the equal scout numbers. I think they'd still win, but he'd trade obviously a lot more efficiently.
no,
If you
that's
had
what I
like
mean.
a-
Sorry, as in like
Yeah.
if this was like Cav,
but while
would
this is
like,
going on though, Timbers snuck in on an overchop onto Saladin's woodline. He's just killed 5-6 vills, and now it's on the gold as well.
yeah, what was Saladin looking at?
He had a couple of scouts in the middle of the map somewhere near Timbers base, and I guess they've
Yeah.
died to something or other.
Hmm.
Oh,
They
that
got
is- that
they
is-
jumped onto Snitto's base.
Yeah, okay, I
on
see
his
the
woodline.
walls. Makes sense. But he just took big damage right there.
Yeah, he's
Especially
hitting
just-
Castle Age with 35 vills. He has no wood for TCs because he did all his house walls as well. It's just
Yeah, he spent so much wood. He's got tons of food and gold, so he can make knights and get the cav upgrades that he needs. But he's eco expansion is definitely delayed. Whereas you see both the pockets for Liam's team instantly dropping 2 TCs.
although I'm not Liam's.
Well,
If he could, he doesn't have +2.
There's an overchop on Char's berries. An overberry, I guess would be the word.
Yeah. If those are +2 like Cav, I'd say just go straight past the TC, hit the gold if you can. But
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Why have you not done +2?
he queued up too many knights at the same time, and I don't think he's noticed.
Rough. He's
he
only
had
just
the
now
gold
getting
for it.
wheelbarrow as well, which is a little bit suboptimal. We'll probably
Oh,
kill another
Saladin's
villager or
Day.
two.
About to get from bad to worse. Snitto has now arrived.
They're on the wrong side of his base though. Like they know where the gold is, and they know that there's palisade
Yeah.
walls near the gold. Attacking a house right next to the TC doesn't really achieve anything.
He also
Unfortunately.
has the he's teched Town Watch, so he saw them coming a mile away. Looking at this line of sight, my goodness. But yeah, Chacha's like her own archers are under her TC, but the rest of them are still getting back from bonk space.
From Saladin's base actually.
Oh yeah, but like yeah, they've made it at least this far.
Yeah, they were all the way on the map.
Lawmeister, wait for your upgrades, sir. You do it. Oh,
Oh, that's a pause.
hmm.
And
See
outside
if
Saladin's
there's
base,
enemies.
they are being pushed back by the cavalier and the crossbows. Saladin does
Mhm.
actually now have an extra TC, but it's on a wood line that he's already, 2/3
Eaten
chopped
out.
through. So very, very shortly, this TC is going to be absolutely useless for everything except for farms. Which is definitely not ideal. and yeah,
Lawmeister, walk and shoot, walk and shoot. No. Oh. I mean, the
mean,
knights have arrived.
yeah,
but
just numbers wise, right? Bonk is only just now hitting Castle Age, whereas Liam has 10 knights already. He's got +2 armor on the way now. And like even
Cha-Cha is
Char's,
still not up.
yeah,
yeah.
Cha-Cha's not there either. So they just need to keep applying this pressure. I think they can't afford to just sit here. Attack this house, get in there with the crossbows, deny the gold, deny that backwood line. I mean, I guess Cha-Cha does have huge archer numbers, so I guess trying to kill some of these before she gets crossbow and bodkin would be huge.
Snitto is, archer numbers are even that side. The knights versus paladin are going to start to feel it. Oh, not a cavalier, sorry. Yo, let's go timber though. 27 minutes, time to add more stables. Let's go. All in castle.
Oh, he
I'm
is adding.
ready.
He's got one extra one coming up. And yeah, oh, now Liam's diving underneath Char's CC to kill the army. Ignore the vills, kill the archers before she gets crossbow. Just stop attacking vills. kill all the archers.
Yeah, and again, I don't think Cha-Cha can afford crossbow.
Honestly,
Can
I
just
think
afford
I would
broadcom.
consider ungarrisoning the vills and garrisoning the archers.
Yeah,
Just
but I think at this point, it's everything dies.
yeah. At this point, it's a little bit too late, but it's what I'd be thinking about. But yeah, army-wise,
Mhm.
she had close to 40 archers. Now she's down to 15, and there's still decent crossbow numbers from Lawmeister right here. Lawmeister has actually played a surprisingly good game, considering how poor the start was.
Yeah,
On
but I
the
guess again, it's the especially with these tight builds nowadays, people like if you can interrupt the 18 pop, even in any way, like the recovery from it sometimes is so bad. And then they've just on the other side, there's a big fight
yep.
as Snido has cleaned up the army from the other team.
Honestly, I think it's more Timber was sort of sectioning off Saladin,
Well,
and then just let
yeah,
Seto take a really great fight with bigger numbers.
yeah. Sorry, my apologies. When I say Snido and Timber as a
Yeah,
collective.
as a team, yeah, they've done a really good job there. And now
Yeah.
Liam and Lawmeister are just heading off towards Bonk to start taking down his stables. This is why you still do 22 pop out. Panda, don't tell me that you're doing 22 pop on Arabia. I will not be happy. If my
I think the
flank or my
last time I
pocket is
played
doing 22 pop, I will be... Ugh.
Mr.
No.
Panda, I do think that I have not played a game on Arabia with you since we had the incident of uh, I may have taken your pig and
How do you take someone's
mm,
pig on Arabia?
I because Panda was making a point of 18 pop kills all. Like if we only play Arabia, it's just whoever does the best 18 pop. And I said no, and I went and took his pig.
Oh, it's a 1v1. So I thought you were like his pocket or something and you took his ball.
No, no,
What?
no, no. We
How
were
would you do
playing.
that?
No, it was 4v4. It was 4v4. I was against him on the flank.
Oh, okay,
So the
gotcha.
deal.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I said try 18 pop with the Schnauzer. But I don't like. I
Oh.
don't think I've. He doesn't go 22 pop for me because he refuses to play Arabia with me. But yeah, I think here it's looking. I mean, it's already was pretty rough with Cha-Cha's position, but now the stables are all down from Bonk.
Yep,
He's
and
having
then
to add
this...
some at the back of his base. He's
And
getting raided
Knights,
to
yeah,
death.
the Knights just running back there to raid the farms, the wood line there. And like even on Saladin's base, a couple of Knights just keep diving, and he has 16 Knights chasing, 16 Cavaliers, sorry, chasing one Knight through his eco, which is just a
Hmm.
massive overreaction while there's a huge army sitting outside his flank base. And
Hmm.
we see there's almost a 100 Vil lead for Liam's team already, plus their 50 army ahead. All
Yeah,
of their
you look at
players have extra
Saladin.
TCs, basically.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say Saladin 2 TC, Captain Nipples 1 TC, Bonk 2 TC, about to be one against the 3 TC from most players in the other team.
Yep, even Lawmeister's adding a TC. Liam on the way up to Imp, adding a 4th TC as well. And Imperial Age coming for Snedo as well, the fast Imp 1 TCR play.
Actually, yeah, Fed is right. He was taking my llamas at the same time. I think it was a disaster.
Okay, okay.
Anyway, but yeah, Chacha can't keep production of bills going with only 4 farms. They're very inefficient wood lines. It's all just sort of. It's just I feel like yeah, I don't think Saladin's army can do as much here,
So,
even if he's trying to go forward to.
do we lay the blame for this loss entirely on picking Burgundians? Is that how this goes?
No, maybe the execution of the Burgundian. If you check his eco upgrades, my guy does not have heavy plow in Castle Edge.
Yeah, and also not
Does
having
not have handcart
yeah,
or
handcard as well. That's a really big one once you get to castle.
GG. Yeah, I think it's like it can be fine, but the way the game played out with like the decision making of when they went forward, and then it just feels a bit rough the way that they played it.
I think the other issue was
But
that as Burgundians, because you don't have bloodlines, you're kind of incentivized to try to take really good engagements early to minimize the scout numbers so that if and when they get bloodlines, it's not as impactful. Whereas his
yeah,
armor upgrade was incredibly late compared to Timber. Like he got it like a minute later or something, which
hmm
I mean, I would say Burgundians should still be a better ecociv than Slavs that early in the game, other than the free houses. But you know, you've got your other bonuses for Burgundians, so having the late upgrades prevents you taking that early engagement and then cleaning their scout numbers. Because if they've got 2 scouts, they're not going to get bloodlines, right? They have to make another 6 scouts before it makes sense to do bloodlines, which then buys you
Mhm.
time to potentially macro up to Castle Age, and then switch into Knights really fast because you don't want those extended feudal ages.
Yeah. And there was one, you know how we were discussing about whether playing Slavs can wear, are you okay playing a double Cavalier civ rather than Paladin civ? When you're against Burgundy and Malian, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really come into play. You
Yeah,
can just play
true.
the big Castle Age like they did, and they just win the game that way. It's very well played by Team Liam. Good stuff from them. Yeah, Snido was also 62% imp with his 1 TC play. Making a ram, my goodness, man was ready to push
Who's making a ram?
Snido.
Oh, I
He was
guess fair.
preparing the damn push, man.
I
He was
mean,
getting ready.
your Portuguese just get chemistry and make a bomber cannon.
He's got Saracen ally. Just eat with eat with archers.
True, it's even stronger.
Just eat the goddamn TC. Oh yeah, we're going to a game 3 now. That's good. Exciting times.
Okay, so the civs that we have then are Malay, Italians, Berbers, and Bulgarians. Ugh. I don't really like those when you compare them to Liam's civs, if I'm being completely honest.
If you were to throw, okay, I'm just gonna do little crowns here, but like you put Berbers in the deep pocket, you play them either with the knights or with the camel archer, as you people seem to be doing. Do you then go? Who's your cav there? You playing Bulgarians no longer as the front, and maybe
No.
playing them behind.
Bulgarians or Sicilians has to be doing scouts, and the Malay is probably just going super fast up for a trush,
Mm-hmm.
using the fast uptime, and just trying to get, 2 or 3 forward towers as a staging point that you can then push forwards from would make sense. Plus, denying some resources along the way. Oh, yeah, sorry, I got to do the prediction as well. 40% voted for Liam, so we've got a slight upset there. But yeah, I just feel like I guess Italians are always kind of scary when you get to late game, just because the Genbo mass is pretty good. But
Mm-hmm.
you know that there's a Korean player on the other team who's presumably going to make SO, and SO kind of just hard counter Italians almost. If your bomber can micro isn't like perfect.
Yeah.
And I guess to be honest, I think if I'm Liam's team, I'm probably playing Goths over Poles at this stage, or instead of Persians even, because like they've got potentially 3 archer civs, right? Camel archers, Genbos, and Malay. So just Goth Huskars seems pretty good.
Now
Whereas
we've seen this a couple times before. I'm not sure they'll do it here, but Dragonstar notably was known to play Celt's deep pocket and play full boom into Wode's siege, all that jazz. So, do you think we could possibly see that here, or is it much? It just does not make sense to throw Celts there.
I no, if they'd picked Celts, then I could consider it as like a pre-planned strategy. But I don't think that switching to that suddenly with a random civ makes a lot of sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Which is fair.
And I feel like just pure booming with Celts potentially leaves you open to heavy Castle Age play. Right? If you have Berber Deep Pocket who does like a mini boom into Night Flood, plus like Bulgarians doing Scout Archers and then Italians with a big crossbow mass, and they push their way up to your base before you're able to hit Imp, I feel like you might have some issues there.
Mm-hmm.
Can you exchange Italians with Bohemians?
You could, but uh, um,
I think they're very, very different, right? Italians are incredibly strong in, you know, feudal age, they're decent. Castle age, they're okay. Late Castle age, when you start to add Genbos in, you're not scared of knights anymore. And then early Imp, the Genbos are insane. Whereas Bohemians are probably stronger only when it gets to Imperial Age, when you can start to make bomber cannons and hoofnies.
and think about what you're fighting against, right? Say Koreans, I assume they're playing archers, right? But if they do, for whatever reason, go frontline and they go Trush and they go Wagons, having Gen Boast against Wagons is infinitely better than Crossbow. And then same with Spanish as well, right? Like if a Gen Bow can shoot a conk rather than having just Expos trying to shoot it.
There's a lot more damage for sure.
Mhm. Are they all in the lobby? They are picking their
They are.
sims. They're working out. Well, it looks like we have a Cha Cha and Snedo in the deep pockets. Ho, ho, ho.
I believe
Round
that that
two.
is what Saladin did previously as well. Yeah, he had Bonk on the front as Koreans in the first round, and then Red Run with the Archers, then Saladin and Jar Jar at the back.
Yeah, and it's the same with what Liam's team did. They did Liam playing archers as Mongols. They had Timber playing scouts with the Lithuanians, and Snedo all the way at the back with Spanish last time, making knights, I believe. Right? He played
I think he did like
knights
one stable
with
knights with
Boom.
bloodlines and armor, and then yeah, so he made like 5 or 6 knights to help them get an advantage in the feudal fights, and then went full boom after that. Because by that
Mhm.
stage, the scout player is up to castle age and can take over the knight production while you just boom for the late game carry, which
Yeah,
seemed like a pretty interesting way to play it, to be honest.
it's sort of similar. That's what Shed did as well, right? With Berbers, he did like two stable knights with
Yeah,
upgrades
I
just to
mean,
get the early.
yeah, he went for far
Go.
more army though than Cinder did.
Yeah,
He went like heavy knights for a while and then added 4 TCs pretty quickly. Tiebreaker
yeah.
time. Let's
Korean
go.
SO does negate or Italian play, but like really is Koreans getting to SO this game? They can for sure, but I think
I mean, I think
you should
if
be
you're
able to play
trying to
around it.
hedge for the late game, then yes, you would play Bohemians. But I don't think the rest of your civs stand a chance against the combination of Koreans and Spanish anyway. Like having Bohemians doesn't suddenly make you win that late game. I feel like you need to commit to trying to get a solid advantage in mid castle age going into early imp, not try to drag it out and win in post imp when they have Spanish trade and some of the best SO in the game, and then potentially either the Pole Flood or the Goth Flood coming involved.
Do we have the game?
They have not started yet.
Do
I would guess that someone's off
no.
to the bathroom because 2 players have not picked their colours.
And I'm looking in lobby, so I know at least some of the maps that the Noz versus the Soxy's team. I know some of the maps they're playing, but I do not know the results.
Excellent. Please do not tell me.
For sure, for sure.
You can listen to the cast of the Rex as you go to bed after
I
this.
might watch them at. I would never watch them at work. Ooh,
Oh
no.
no no no.
What? If you could just like upload the YouTube video, like
Uh,
before you go to bed tonight.
the problem is that it takes a while to upload. That's the issue.
I know. I'm never hopeful.
And then like I've got to like
Yeah.
schedule it into the releases. I've already got a VOD scheduled for tomorrow, and then there'll be this one sometime, and then there'll be the next match later after that.
Yeah, Twitch just needs to let me download the volume, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I could send you the an offline link if you
Oh,
wanted, maybe, if it's uploaded in
oh.
time, if I remember, or if you remind me. Definitely not at work right now. Yeah, that's the spirit, Fez. You got to be watching my stream instead of working. It's far more productive. What's an offline link? Like a postal address? I mean, like, it's not a public video yet. It's still a private video, but it's watchable if you have the link. Would be the possible solution for that issue. Because I wouldn't want to publicly release the next VOD before this one, because it's quite likely that at some point I mention the results of Saladin versus Liam. And if anyone is only watching the VODs, it would be a bit lame to spoil a match that hasn't been
Shown on YouTube here.
yeah, hasn't been released yet. Private link, yeah, yeah, that's the word for it. Saladin still hasn't picked a color. He's going to be the second player from the back eventually.
Yeah. As Saladin is known to drag
Yeah,
out the in between games
yeah, to take a while.
on occasion. Then again, everyone has their quirks, right? Like I get flamed by you guys for taking my time with drafts when
Oh,
like
especially if you're
you
not
know.
using Captain's Mode, where you just take fucking 10 minutes to think about what civ you're gonna pick.
True.
That's why Captain's Mode is good. It forces you to act quickly. You got 30 seconds, or else you lose your chance.
Mm-hmm. That's why I take my 10 minutes. You know how it goes. Fine.
Oh, I like that the spec dashboard orders the players in color order once they've picked a color. That's smart. It's especially good for frontline because you can see exactly who's matched up against each other.
Um, Forgive me for causing drama.
Uh-oh.
Shouldn't hold on. Before I'm gonna triple check everything before I call this out. Let me just. Where do we get the list of teams? Is it like the full list of players on a roster?
Do you need the link, or are you saying when did we get it?
No, I'm just double checking. So I assume that everybody has like that. This was declared by admins, but is Attila like AFK from Team Shed? He has not
Uh,
played a game yet in the
yes.
first 2 weeks.
I believe he's been completely unable to play.
Okay.
Um, from
Oh,
random bits of conversation that I've heard, I think he has to play all three of the last rounds, or else they'll get an admin loss or something or other to make up for the fact that they missed the first two rounds.
because yeah, I was just perusing teams on like how they're, who's playing and all that jazz. Getting an idea of like
Yeah, I
looking
believe
ahead
that
to the
that is, I think, the only person who hasn't played yet.
yeah. Because looking ahead to like the Soxy Noz game you're going to cast, I was wondering who's going to be jumping in for that. Looking on past games. Hmm. Also, because I'm playing shared Steam, so I just wanted to make. I was just like, I was wondering who was, playing. Like,
Yeah, makes sense.
maybe
Yeah,
that's why
I
we had a
believe
bit
that
more.
Attila will have to play at least one game for all of the next rounds as a compensation sort of thing.
Mhm.
Game has
I mean,
started.
it's also hard to like, scheduling 10 people
I just decided to
ridiculously
refresh
hard.
the spec dashboard, and then now it's just not showing me the lobby.
Yeah, 3 minutes in, so we're straight into it.
Okay,
Goth, Korean,
I'm not into it
Persian.
yet. Hold on, I need to
I'll just
find a new
read you
game.
some civs, man.
Okay.
Goth, Persian, Spanish, Korean from Team Liam. Then you have Sicilian, Bulgarian, Bohemian, and Berber. We're so wrong. Italians and Malay, who needs those? Let me tell you.
Wait, they're not using Italians, and what?
They're using their last three picks on this.
That does not make any
Uh,
sense.
Lawmeister has been unleashed with the Goths. He has been given the license to lane.
Okay, so I guess the spec dashboard crashed or something because I didn't see that the game had started. Have
Yeah, there
you
was
like
a
caught up to the time already?
3 minutes 29, 3 minutes 30, 3 minutes 33.
Okay, I will
Uh,
I will fast forward, but not like fully fast forward, so that we can still
yeah,
catch
because
anything that's going
there are
on.
things happening.
Yep, yeah. I imagine that there's going to be laming. Like we see Bonk already going forwards and killing a deer. I'm just going to go on like 2 times speed, to be honest.
Uh, you don't get a prediction for getting through dead meat. There is nothing to
Uh,
see here.
Hold on. We quickly do 1 minute of predictions.
Slash overlay.
Slash overlay
Uh,
as well. Yes, good shout.
Monk play?
I'm gonna completely blame the fact that I've got a co-caster, which is distracting me from all the things.
Yeah, we're
That's
having
my that's
conversations rather than
yeah
doing
yeah
streaming things.
yeah that's my excuse. But yeah, Bonk came in and lamed all of these deer from Lawmeister down here at the bottom, and now there's just a huge fucking fill fight going on.
Yeah,
What? Send the villain with the army as well. The moral support sheep is what we've got going on there.
yeah. KT, the monk. It won't be monk play. It should be archers from Bohemians,
Yep,
and then
100%.
Sicilians going scouts. Same with the other
Oh, and
side.
then
Persians will go scout.
Lawmeister just walked into a TC as well. So he's gonna lose a villager to a scout.
Yeah.
I mean, walling in these berries probably has a ton of value, or going to find the deer that almost has just missed out on seeing. This is a funky ass game, and now the villagers are going around the top side. And Bonk's only just now doing Loom. He went and lamed deer without Loom. That is ballsy. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's exactly like Rage Forest.
if we just look at those Vil counts, it's not looking too hot for the Lawmeister.
Oh yeah, he's got 2 minutes of idle time already. Holy balls. He's going for the pocket steer though. I don't mind that, to be honest. Sometimes thrashing the pocket, or like not the first player, has a lot more value than others. And I'm now at 640. Is that where you are?
646, 647, yeah.
Perfect. We are caught up now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Red Rum is not playing, bro.
Apparently he is unavailable. And we just see Bonk actually coming in and now walling in Lawmeister's berries a little bit.
Lawmeister went to put a mill down, and it got cancelled, but he's still there. He's seeing it happening before his very eyes. Because he's walling in the gold with the pocket and killing deer.
I mean, I don't think walling in that gold is really that relevant, because there's 3 other golds closer to Charge LCC that you could be taking instead.
She's already on one of them there. Got her 18 pop going up, or 19 pop, but closer.
So we got yellow and purple, and then, yeah, so the 2 middle players for both teams are on the way up to Feudal Age. Oh, Bonk with the plays trying to wall in this villager. He tried.
He's like, you will not wall me in, I will wall you. Oh, the return gate?
Oh! Lawmeister, what a play! He's practicing his quick walling.
He's making it his own.
Wall the deer. I don't think that's very efficient, to be honest. Especially because people are going to start hitting Feudal Age soon. We got a relatively fast FC though from Captain Nipples. 24 pop. With no loom. So potentially just a naked boom? Only 2 on gold, not a ton on wood, so it doesn't seem like a barracks and stable play. Makes a lot of sense to me. Whereas we do see the barracks with Snedo, so I guess we're going to see a similar play to last time, where he makes a couple of knights and then transitions into the boom after that. Which I think was very effective last time, so doing the play once again seems like it's a pretty sensible idea.
Yeah, I am concerned he won't have the race.
The Snedo to pick up. Oh, true, he's only got 300 food. And he's still got 1 deal that he didn't push.
24 pop, which is... It'll be tight.
And scouts are starting to poke and prod a little bit on the front side. Around Bonk's berries. I mean... Yeah, Bonk's berries are just incredible. I mean both the berries, to be honest. Like, whoever gets archers out first feels like you just push somebody off their berries and just absolutely kill their eco. Stable and the blacksmith are coming up for Mr. Snow. There's like no actual signs of walling really for any of the teams at this stage. Well, except for Lawmeister walling in the golds. I guess that counts as walling.
No walling coming in from the deep pockets themselves, apart from the small wall you get from those buildings.
Yeah, I was more talking about the like the big walls you do up along the sides to like secure everybody. The giant penis walls is what it kind of looks like in the end. Blue has 8 farms already.
Not even doing it. Yeah, this is
a bit insane to be honest, especially because all of these deer are still just sitting here ready to be taken.
Timber's got the scout numbers at the front, and they got the archers out. So as you said, first one with archers pushes the other one away.
Yep. And then yeah, just without these berries, it's gonna be rough to get to Castle Age. I mean, he does have all these farms set up already, but again, they're farms without horse collar, which is not ideal. And we see that Liam's doing a little bit of a microplay, trying to pick off some of Charchard's archers right now. It's really worth walling, except at the front. I think so. If you're able to do, like, because all these wood lines around the sides, it's pretty easy to just chuck up a bunch of palisades between them, just to stop, 2 or 3 scouts roaming into your base and killing you.
Oh, the rod. Here we go.
Oh,
Bonk is up and Bonk is rolling.
It's a requirement at this point. Is, not in the best position, but the tower is definitely going to go up. I'm not sure if Timber should commit to that fight so close to the towers. Yeah, because you don't want to take a couple of volleys from the tower once it does go up. Because there's so many ninja scouts there as well. Yeah, like, a couple of volleys finishes off those ninja scouts.
But do you know what's getting real work done?
What is?
The Lawmeister's Vills at the back. They've walled in another gold, and now both dead.
Ah, What did they die to?
I think they died to Vils. They try to
Ah,
get a bit fancy on the wood line.
rough. Is that woodline? No.
The
Ah, yeah, yeah,
Churchill
okay,
wood
yeah, yeah,
line.
I see. Yep. Trying to figure out where things. Oh, look at the forward tower though for Bonk
Full
on
tower aggressive.
Lawmeister's woodline. I
Timber
mean,
should be able to claim that, but
honestly, Lawmeister might need
no.
to delete that house so that the archers can get through at some point. Oh, the tower
Yeah,
is being denied.
there is a gate to the left that they could go through, but yeah,
Oh,
I
the
think
problem is
that
that
tower goes
it's
up.
yeah, there's a diagonal wall in front of the gate as well, which means you have to go around that wall to get to the gate.
Oh, there is. My fault. I didn't
Yeah,
see it.
yeah, it's very difficult to get to. I think you have to go wall in that tower as Lawmeister because like it's in such a high percentage that it'll get finished at some point when you're not paying attention. Like
Like right now.
yeah, like right now, some villagers are walking forward, but Liam is paying attention. He's out and about trying to stop this, but it should go up in exchange for a couple of arrow volleys on some units.
Timber is running. He hasn't. He's left, but he hasn't gone anywhere. So he's sort of just looking at each other. They both got armor.
You mean he's
Snedo is making some knights, whereas there is a straight. Oh, there's a castle up from. We missed it. He went on. He went on stone on his way up.
okay? The castle's only just finished, it seems, though, so it wasn't a very
And look
crazy
at his
fast build, it
res.
seems.
This is not good. This eco balance is. Oh, I was about to
Oh,
say
from
shot.
St. Nibbles. Yeah, that's rough.
I don't think he can produce much here.
Oh, Flightless Bird, thank you for the sub, my man. Thank you for the support. Oh, and there's actually a tower coming up from Lawmeister on the far left on SalaDin's woodline. I mean, he's trying to be a pain. I guess that is the job of the front player, doing his best.
This is when you really wish you had two vills alive, because then one could wall in the wood line while the other one builds the tower.
So the Bills can't escape.
Yep. Delete your mining camp. Delete your lumber camp. Alright, they're holding the position, but Snedo is here with his no upgraded knights, like 0 upgrades, 2 TCs, 3 TCs, but not producing. Aish.
Not keeping them all running, nope. The TC idle time is starting to crack up for Snedo right now. I think the way that he did it last time was much better, where you just went slowly added TCs, right? You go for the first TC, and then you wait a bit, and then you add the additional one afterwards, because you spent a bunch of resources on making these knights, and he actually didn't do bloodlines this time. I think that's what he did the first time, which actually
Timber
seems
is.
pretty good.
Oh, the Cha-Cha's caught out. To an extent.
It's so close to the TC, right? You just garrison the villas in the TC, and you should be chilling.
Yeah. Well, three archer picks for free is pretty nice for Liam.
Yeah, but it's definitely not a full cleanup.
Yes, he did shoot.
The Camel Archers, I think, yeah, doing like FCU is quite a difficult play, I think, which is potentially quite difficult for the weaker players on the team. But we do see Castle Agents starting to come in now for everybody except for Lolmeister on Team Liam, whereas we've only got the one player in Castle. Blue's not too far away, surprisingly, as the front player, but it does seem like the cleanup is
Big ass
going to
fight
happen.
comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which does make sense. Like, there's a lot more Camel Archers than there are Knights, and it seems that Timber sort of cut production and cut upgrades to go up, whereas SalaDin has continued to mass a lot of scouts.
He's still going double stable himself. He's not going to be up anytime soon.
Oh,
Saladin,
I didn't
that
even
is.
realize he was doing 2 stables. I like this though. Timber just running back with his scouts. I like they're absolutely useless for a fight. I think they should just go hide in the corner and try to like deny relics, deny the villas that build a market, that sort of a play, or like scout out walls and things along those lines.
Oh, I hope that Liam does he get away before his upgrades come in? Ooh, it's gonna be. He's gonna get the crossbow. Is he gonna get the bodkin? Does he trade with the camel archers now? What's he doing here? What's his plan?
I would trade with the archers to be honest if they walk close enough. But I guess trading with any of them is probably fine. Also, by the way, we've got another tower coming up from Lawmeister on Char-Char's new woodline. She's just built this lumber camp and is going to instantly get partially denied from the
It's a
tower.
completely blind one as well. He has no idea. He doesn't actually see where he's going with it. He doesn't see anything on
yeah,
the wood line.
he just sees woodline and says must tower.
Yeah. Does he have fletching? He doesn't have fletching. He's actually close to going up as well. Whereas Bonk is already on the way up, and Bonk is prepared to drop a castle as soon as they are.
Oh yeah, because he's heavily mining stone. 13 villages right there.
One castle or two crepos, you know?
Ooh, true. That is an option. I mean, actually,
Not
yeah,
much
that is
damage
a
though.
fair question. Which one would be better? I guess it depends on if you wanting.
Castle. Yeah.
I know. I mean, honestly, like using like one Krepos to like kill Lawmeister's
Deny the
TC.
gold, but there.
Like
Yeah.
like you try to build it almost in range of the TC, and then you just push forward with another Krepos, and then another Krepos, and you sort of like start chaining them forwards. Whereas a castle is sort of one and done. Whereas potentially, two Krepos can deal more damage and secure more space, while being obviously a little bit less. Less dangerous.
Let's see what he does here. Although he is getting ganked by knights at the time, they can't defend him. This is really bad. This is panic stations.
You never box with knights. It doesn't work.
He's committed though. He's surely if you're Liam's team and you see Vils grouped up like that, and the person just hits castle age, you double check they're not going castle drop.
Oh, that is actually a pretty nice TC spot that he's just built, which has blocked the knights from being able to run in.
And Liam lost his initial archers in the back of Char's base, trading for Vils, putting her down to 25. But
yeah, there is actually a huge Vil lead already for Liam's team. They're 60 Vils ahead, 70 Vils ahead. Sorry, just about.
Yeah, Snitto's got his TCs running again up to 77 Vils.
Oh, and Timber's just raiding with knights on the left and the right side, just trying to find Vils wherever possible. Bonk's just doing TCs instead of a castle. He still has the stone for a castle. He could build that at any point if he wants to.
I think he was waiting for army to be in a position, and now they're all going to group up and they're going to push through. But
yep, that would make sense.
We say that, but I guess those are going to come like cap with +2.
Yeah, the Vils are now coming out of the TC. I guess they want to kill the gate as well and like get the castle as far forward as possible. Try to just like straight up destroy Lawmeister's TC, but he's going to hit castle age now, so he's able to start to reboom somewhere off to the side. I don't know if a castle would work. There's just so much army here.
Especially when it goes there.
Yeah, that's not a good castle at all. I don't think.
If he deletes the farm and puts it next to the straggler tree that's right there, I think it's fine. But it's not in range.
I mean, I guess that castle, sort of secures the gold that he was on, but I don't know if that's really a priority at this point. I think they should just accept that they're going to lose his base, build the castle between Liam's TCs, and then just go reboom in the right-hand corner or something. I mean, this castle might not even go up, to be honest. Oh, no. Oh, Char's crossbow.
He's sending the boys, man. He's sending the boys. Listen, 25 Vils for Lawmeister is all he needs. He's a gamer.
He had such a good Vil lead earlier. Like, he was in such a good position, and then he's lost so much trying to build that castle. It's 0 to 21 KD all of a sudden. Oh, and we've got 2 towers from Lawmeister on that wood line, by the way, that Char was on. Just to
really rub it in.
Yeah, just really make sure that wood line is never being taken. Oh, but also, Lawmeister's just taking a wood line south of his base, completely unprotected. And there's scouts, knights, and camel archers heading in that direction. Arcos, thank you for the raid, man. How is it going? Oh, and Lawmeister's gonna lose another 10 Vils.
Yeah, but at this point, let's trade. I would trade these 10 Vils for Snitto's untouched boom 92 pop imp.
I mean, yeah, Snitto is in a good position, but we saw how slowly Lawmeister rebooms in the previous game. I fear that we're going to be in, or not the previous game, like in the first game on Donut. I fear we're going to see the same sort of a situation happen here, where he's down to 15 Vils. His TC is very shortly about to die.
And they're not walled at the back, so the army is just going to roll through onto the gold from Timber.
Yep.
Going to disrupt them pretty harshly here.
There's just so much army rolling forwards right now. Like, they can't afford to even take a fight, to be honest, until Snitto hits him and starts to get his upgrades. So they've got like a 2 to 3 minute delay before they can really engage this effectively, I think.
They're kind of doing fine, but mostly because SalaDin's made the choice to split his knights up and raid. He's delayed, he's killed a few Vils under Liam's TCs, taking him off the gold. He's under Timber's TC as well, making Snitto not be able to fight, and now Liam's distracted and losing his archers.
I think that fight probably should have been okay for Char Char and Nipples if they were microing correctly.
Hmm.
Because the Camel Archer is such a strong unit. Like, once you've got a decent mass of them, they do really well, and the crossbows are there just to sort of almost meat shield for the Camel Archers, which doesn't exactly seem, you know, normal, but how it almost plays out. But Snedo does hit him. Do we see panic stations from anyone on SalaDin's team? Are they going to start rushing
Yeah.
up walls to secure their ecos so they don't just get Paladin raided to death?
Oh, he tried a quick wall sned at it, but it did not come off. The Camel Archers are in. The Camel Archers are lacking all their stable upgrades, as there is no stable for Captain Nipples. However, he still can do work here trying to snipe bills.
Are you sure he doesn't have
Meanwhile, is Bonk adding eco here? He's deciding to push with eco and get up more that way.
I mean, he's got 3 TCs, right? So Bonk is not slacking in the reboom department. Lawmeister, though, does not have a TC at the moment. He's got a half-built barracks that he can delete to get some extra wood. Okay, the TC does start to do now.
Is that the spot to put it though?
No, he needs a TC on wood so that he can then build another TC.
Make farms and then
Yeah, and make farms as
yeah.
well. Cavalry just continuing to just roam around a little bit, but they are slowly getting whittled down. And now the Cavalier and +4 armor are on the way for the Snedo.
It's time for Big Snedo to carry. I respect it, but we have Bonk is going to be up here. It's going to go up to Imp.
And just go.
There's going to be
Helms, I guess.
I think it's like it's a up. Make Trebs to push the castle down and try and push with Trebs, and then trust your allies to have the army for you. Although Cha-Cha's Vil count, I don't think she'll be able to sustain the archer production for much longer. And SalaDin has had to spend how long getting 25 Vils to try and break down the walls around the gold.
Oh, that's great. That's perfect. Why is Cha-Cha at 30? She's lost a lot of Vils, you know, in
been raided a
age,
lot.
and then just never really had added any TCs, right? Second TC going up at minute 33 is very, very late to continue expanding the eco.
Let's go, Snedo! He's in there! Look at him!
And Bonk is actually
making
an attempt to get some stone walls up on the right hand side, but Snedo has a monk there. He notices Liam's
the
going to send some
archers,
builds, yes, and the
Cavalier.
archers to kill him. I kind of don't know if the trebuchet plan that you suggested for Bonk is actually going to work out, because Cavalier can just sort of dive under the castle to kill a couple of trebs if there's not enough army to support.
Yep. It's one of those where he's gone up with he's hit the point where he's like, oh, I have the res, I can go up, I should go up. But he hasn't dropped any, he's dropped 1 barracks, he hasn't dropped any stables, he hasn't made any of the...
Okay. But the Imperial Age for Lawmeister makes much more sense, I think, because even though he's only got 16 bills and he's no way to make new bills, him making trebs is actually relevant because Snedo is going to have an incredibly powerful army.
Yeah, you know what? This is the gamer. This is the gamer we need, man.
As silly as it seems, the guy who has, you know, a fifth of the number of bills is actually in a much better position to go in for trebs.
Man, this guy's making plays everywhere, walling the res, towering up. He's still got the Vil. Man, he's ready to get slung, drop some barracks, and cause mayhem.
In the back corner, yeah. Oh, that would be great. Lawmeister Loki outside impact. I mean, he's done it really well in these last 2 games. The first one was definitely not a very good performance, but these 2 have been... You know, it's been very impressive for the lowest rated player in this game.
Oh, and there's the GG. It's come through.
Oh.
He's not even going to get to Imp. That's tragic. Look at the score.
Just hold on for 40 more seconds, please. Please, just give him a chance.
Oh.
Give the man a chance.
The man could have. Look at his score, man. He's a gamer. This is the real Lawmeister.
Honestly, his score like almost goes up by like a couple hundred points when he hits Imp.
Yeah, or even if he cancels it, he's like, "Oh, the GG quickly cancel. We can look this." Oh, but yeah, that was it's the 1 TC Camel Archer play on paper is okay, but now like it delays the eco so much, and the build count gets outscaled, and then suddenly you're so far behind.
Yeah, I feel like you really need a relatively strong player doing it because the follow-up is so difficult after going 1 TC fast imp, or 1 TC castle drop like that. Because your eco is so fragile, and you're also making a relatively expensive unit in a Camel Archer. So, it's quite tricky to balance when you get your upgrades, when you start expanding with your TCs. But to be honest, I think Nipples did a decent job. The rest of the team, I think, and Bonk did an okay job as well. I think that Saladin and Shar didn't make the best decisions. Like the double stable scouts and just committing to feudal age for Saladin. I guess he felt like he had to do it because they were a little bit behind in army numbers. But then his
Hmm.
castle age was just so incredibly delayed compared to Timber. And then his knights just constantly getting in there and raiding people's eco. Because there was no walls whatsoever from either team, which made it very, very easy for the Cav Civs to just roam around